Do you know there's one guitar skill that'll help you instantly play or jam to almost any song you want? What's more, it'll elevate your improv skills and it'll help you create your own signature sound. Sound too good to be true? It's not, it's for real, and it's coming right up. I won't beat around the bush. The skill is playing by ear, and it can be daunting. But with a little guided practice and a few tricks, you can make a lot of progress quickly. To get started, here's a little trick I'll show you today. Suppose you want to learn a particular rock solo. Believe it or not, you can often find the key and the framework to use just by finding one single note. Let me show you an example. That's, of course, the beginning to David Gilmour's incredible solo to Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. And yes, I know it was recorded on a Les Paul with P90s, but that's not the point here. There's a rule of thumb that we can use that works amazingly well. That rule works in two parts. The first part of the rule is that we need to find the first sustained note. So here we'd have, it's that note right there. Ba. And usually we can remember that. And if we can remember that, ba, we can hunt and peck to find that first note. Ba, ba. It's this one right here, a D. The second part of the rule is that if the song sounds a bit edgy or rough or sad or a bit sinister, then we're going to use the following framework. We can use the minor pentatonic framework, but not just any minor pentatonic. We use the D minor pentatonic because that was the first sustained note that we found. And we can use that framework because it usually relates to the first chord, which in a rough or edgy or sad or a bit sinister rock song is usually a D minor or a D power chord. Now, this doesn't work every time, there's no guarantee, but it often does work. For example, in Another Brick in the Wall, D minor pentatonic really does the trick for figuring out the solo. Here's another example. So if we listen for our first sustained note, it's this right here. Da, da, which is a G. So if we try the G minor pentatonic, because Freebird is a kind of edgy rock song, it works. But as I said, this doesn't work all the time. However, if we extend it just a tiny bit more, we can get a whole bunch of other edgy rock songs that fit the rule. So if that first note doesn't happen to be the root of the first chord, it just may be the fifth. Now don't worry, this is actually a really simple concept. Let's check it out. Here's an A major chord. It's made up of a 1, or the root, the 3, which is the middle note, and a 5, which is the top note of the chord. Now here's an A minor chord. It's made up of a 1, a flatted 3, and a 5. The key thing to notice here is that the root and the top note, the 5, are the same for both the A and the A minor. Those two notes are A and E. So we simply alter our rule of thumb just a little bit to make it this. If the song is edgy or rough or sad or a little bit sinister sounding, use the minor pentatonic framework, and the first sustained note is probably a root, which is the 1, or a fifth of the chord. Here's a perfect example of where the first sustained note is a fifth. I'd say White Room is an edgy rock song, so let's find that first sustained note. There it is right there. That's an A, and A is the fifth of D. So we could use D minor as our framework for learning that solo. So this rule of thumb works for White Room, and it works for probably the most famous example in all of rock. Stairway is kind of sad and edgy at the same time, so minor pentatonic is probably a decent framework to try. Let's find that first note. There it is right there. An E, and E happens to be the fifth of A, so A minor pentatonic. It's a pretty good framework to try and learn this solo. But of course, this trick doesn't work all the time. To really play by ear, you need experience and consistent practice. But you're in luck because I'm just about to release a new course, Play by Ear the Easy Way in 2 weeks without boring theory. It has more tips and tricks like this, but most importantly, it has a 14-day program to boost your ear muscles. You can sign up on the early bird list by clicking the link below. There's absolutely no obligation whatsoever. It's just to get information on the course and the special pricing that's happening soon. So go ahead and click that link below to boost the most powerful musical tool that you have, your ears.